La Roche famously said for Zendaya when no one wanted to dress her when she was first coming out that if it's no now, it's a no forever. Do not let that apply to situations that you really want. If you really want something, you continue to work for it. The nerve, the gall, the audacity. Those are all the things that I need people to be saying about you this year. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Have Breakfast. I'm your host, Jadyn Eliz, and today we are talking about nothing but audacity. A little bit of audacity goes such a long way, and today I'm going to tell you about how far I've come just from the sheer fact that I have been audacious. Ever since I was a little kid, I have always been someone who had really big dreams. I wanted to do amazing things. At first, I wanted to be a star. I was very much convinced that I was going to be famous. I had these alter egos and just had this idea in my head that I was going to be on stage constantly performing, and I just felt like that was my destiny. Now, there's nothing out there that says that is not still in the cards for me, but my goals and ambitions have kind of changed over the years. But this is just to kind of paint the picture that I've always had this kind of highest belief in myself. I'm sure you can relate to that a little bit. You had these really amazing big dreams when you were a kid, and over time, you have different ideas of how your life may look. I think when we're kids, we don't really understand what all comes with fame and everything that comes with it. And I think being a content creator, I've had a little bit more experience now as the years go on. Working in PR, I'm having more experience with entertainment. I'm really understanding the workings of those. And so now it's well, do I actually want to be famous, or do I want some of the accolades? The older you get, the more you're able to reflect on why you actually want something we're still working through, but we have audacity over here. Let's Have Breakfast has always been about having audacity. It literally started as a dream that I had for myself on a work trip. While I'm sitting there, I ordered room service. I'm sitting in the room, miserable in my job, just thinking about how much better it could be, constantly having conversations with my friends and coworkers and people who were really close to me around that time about some of my ambitions and what I wanted to do. And I found myself constantly sending 10-minute voice notes, and I don't even know how people tolerated that at a certain point. I was constantly going in and in and in, and I just needed an outlet to share my feelings. And as I'm sharing these things, it started to resonate with people, and I took it upon myself to start a podcast. I didn't know where to start when I started this. I didn't have a microphone. I didn't even know how you uploaded a podcast. I didn't really want to do video. Actually, video really wasn't even a thing when I first started Let's Have Breakfast. No camera was on my mind, no equipment. I just said, I'm going to do it. And from that moment on, I have had a podcast. I have always been the type of person that I set my mind to something and I'm going to do it. If I tell you I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Or I'm going to try until I literally can't anymore and I decide I don't want to do it anymore. I'm not above quitting, but I am of the mindset and belief that quitting should be within reason. I don't want to quit something just because it's hard. I want to quit because I don't want to do it anymore. I'm not exactly sure at what point this audacity or setting my mind to following through with my plans came about. I was not really someone who was active in sports when I was a kid. I mean, to a certain extent. I was not in competitive sports. I played sports when I was younger. I played some sports when I was in high school, but again, I was not the best. I just did it more so out of recreation for having fun. And so I've never really been a super competitive person when it comes to certain things like that. I didn't grow up in a house with siblings. I just have always been kind of focused on what I want to do. And maybe that's what created some of this audacity of always believing that I can do something, genuinely what I set my mind to, I'm able to achieve. And I really started to notice that this was a pattern of mine a few years ago, but I think it all started with not being afraid of the answer no. I am not above receiving no. I don't want to hear it, but sometimes a no is what you need to motivate you to go harder, or even just the fear of that no. Like sometimes the fear of rejection or someone telling you no will literally hold you back from your biggest dreams. I'm thinking about my sophomore year of college where I was very much convinced that I was going to be an event planner. I was going to, really like events and weddings. Like I had this whole vision. I was going to have an all-inclusive venue where all of the vendors were there. You could just book there, you have your wedding, you do all of your things there. And I had already been working in the industry. I had worked a bridal show. I was getting my feet wet. And really, some of this vision also started because I went to my cousin's wedding in Indianapolis when I was 9 years old. We traveled from Kansas to Indianapolis, and there was just like the funnest person ever. Her name was Julie. Like, who wants to hang out with the 9-year-old at the wedding? Like, I'm like one of the only kids there, but somehow, some way, me and this girl are vibing. She is an adult. Like, let the record show she's an adult, and she's like kicking it with me. And she's like talking about how she's this event planner in New York City. And I'm like, I think my eyes probably bugged out of my head. So I was like, okay, well, duh. Like, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to be an event planner. Like, I want to do all of these cool things and be in charge and like lead the show. And so from that point on, I think I kind of had it in my mind that I was going to be an event planner or I was going to do something similar. So once I hit college, I still thought the same thing. At one point, I was in like health sciences because I was thinking about making money. But I quickly learned that maybe that wasn't the route that made the most sense for me in my career. So I quickly switched over to marketing and started working in kind of like, honestly, if you aren't from the Midwest and you're especially not from a small town in the Midwest, you maybe can't relate to this as much, but there really isn't anything in the town that I grew up in that I was interested in. From a internship career perspective, there was nothing that I wanted to do. And then I found out about this shop that had recently opened, I think maybe a year before that was like stationary events and balloons. I was like, oh, that seems like something I could do. It's a small business. There's not like a traditional route or anything to go through, but I was at the point in my life where I was not afraid of no. So I shot my shot. I reached out. I gave her all the information. I said, I'm a sophomore at my college. I'm really interested in learning more. Like, do you offer internships? Do you have anything that I could shadow or come work or come learn or anything? I just simply asked the question. And just like that, I was the first ever intern at that shop. And then from there, I worked there for years after that. I learned so much because I just asked a question. I'm going to ask the question. It's something that I want to do. It's something I'm passionate about. So why let the fear of you telling me no hold me back? Because in those situations, even if they had said no, I still made a really good connection. Like, I still have someone now I can go to as a resource. I can talk to them. I can ask them questions. Like, I am always willing to ask and be a student. And audacity can show up in many different ways too. It doesn't have to be solely based on your career. I think back to the first few conversations me and my fiance had where I was trying to shoot my shot and he didn't really notice. I was having audacity by liking all of his pictures and hoping that he would follow up with me and text me or, say, hey, you're cute too. Like, I see you liking all of my pictures. Absolutely not. He had no idea what that meant. So I had to have further audacity and I messaged him actually on GroupMe and was like, when is this group meeting on campus? You know anything about that? He still didn't get the point. So then eventually he asked for my number, but I was not fearful of rejection because I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted him. So maybe I could have been a little bit more direct, but I knew what I wanted in that situation and I went for it. That's the biggest thing about having audacity. Know what you want and go for it. Don't let anything get in your way. Don't let a no deter you. Keep moving forward. If it's a no, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a no forever. Like, I know La Roche famously said for Zendaya when no one wanted to dress her when she was first coming out that If it's no now, it's a no forever. Do not let that apply to situations that you really want. If you really want something, you continue to work for it. Keep working towards it. When you're new to a city, you have to kind of over socialize yourself, because otherwise you're going to be in your house. You're not going to meet new people. You are going to struggle because you are not putting yourself out there. That is the unfortunate thing about moving or relocating or whatever you want to call it. You do have to be a little bit more outgoing during those first few months, first few years, because that is the only way you're going to meet people. I did not allow fear to hold me back. I sent a message to one of my now best friends on TikTok because she was hosting this event or she was putting together something. And I just messaged her and I was like, hey, you seem cool. I would like to hang out with you. Cool. Okay, we went. We had like a little first date, as you will. We hung out, like we talked, we continued conversation, and literally now we are in each other's weddings. Like, that is how much I cannot stress enough that you have to have the audacity to put yourself out there. Audacity will make you become the best version of yourself. It does not allow you to stay small. It doesn't allow you to hold yourself back. It is quite literally putting all of your aspirations on a silver platter and asking the universe to deliver. And if it says no, you keep going harder. If it says no, maybe it's redirection. You have to be open to accepting whatever the result is by putting yourself out there. Otherwise, you're doing a disservice to yourself and you're not allowing yourself to seek opportunity. You are not allowing yourself to learn from your mistakes or try new things. You are just keeping up with the flow and not challenging yourself in any new direction. So have some fucking audacity. Have the nerve, say the thing, get the thing. Be confident in what you want and go after it. And that's how you start building your dream life with intention. Thanks for listening to another episode of Let's Have Breakfast. I'm your host, Jadyn Eliz, and I am signing off until the next one.